So here's the situation. We got the bug back in the shop. So we went ahead and double whammy primed it. Now when I say that, we use two different primers on this thing. We on the hood and the roof, and you can see I got a very, very, very thick guide coat on this. I went ahead and I used the Super Build. Now what Super Build is, it's a very, very high content. They claim it's DTM, direct to metal. I'm not going to take any chances on that. I went ahead and epoxy primed this whole car. So you can see the epoxy primer right here. We got the Super Build up here. That's been Super Build with 3 full wet coats. And then we got the Evercoat polyester primer action going on all the fenders. I'm thinking I'm going to have to, the shape that these fenders were in, and I'm letting everybody know these were brand new fenders. The shape that these fenders were in, I'm thinking I'm going to have to go to Super Build on these as well. Let's go look at the products I'm talking about.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
So what we're looking at here, we're looking at 2 different primers. Now this is the situation you have, people. When you are doing a full restoration on an automobile, like I'm doing on this Volkswagen, it's very important to know exactly what primers to use for the situation at hand. Now I've actually been using this brand 2K primer. This is that UPOL DTM system. It's a 4-to-1 high build primer. And it seems to be working out really good. The price on this is very reasonable. The reason I don't use the Matrix MP3 anymore, because I can't find it anywhere. So I went to the UPOL system, and this is a direct to metal primer. It's a very good primer. It builds very good, and the quality of sanding, I would say it's okay, but it's almost on the verge of being too powdery, where it would gum up the paper, but it actually works very well for the process that I use when doing a high-end paint job. So that's the System 20 4-to-1 build, UP2253. Good stuff. If you get a chance, get it. Like I said, the price is very reasonable on it. I think it's $120 for a gallon setup, and it goes very, very far. This will be the last primer that I put on that Volkswagen to actually block sand, the final block sanding and painting. This will be it right here. This is also a good primer to use right before you put your paint on. If you don't burn through the primer, you can paint directly on top of this without using any epoxy primers at all. Now, before we get to these primers, let's go ahead and get to the initial coat of primer, and that's this right here. I try to use all shop line products. The reason I do that, This is basically the exact same thing as DP epoxy primer, PPG DP epoxy primer, but it's like 1/3 the cost. This is a PPG product. It's a very high-end product, but it's a cost money saving product, meaning you're not going to spend as much money purchasing this product and using it as you are buying the DP epoxy primers. The only primers I believe that they make this in is black and gray, and they might make white, but I don't believe they make red oxide. So if you're looking for a red oxide epoxy primer, I don't think Shopline's for you. This is what I initially put on the vehicle after I did all my body work. I apply my body work to bare metal. I do not epoxy prime the car and then apply body work to epoxy primer. Somebody out there is going to argue with me on that. I've been doing this been in business paying taxes for 43 years, and that's how I do it, and I've never had any drawback or anything, or people coming back saying body work is bad. If you put epoxy primer on and then you want to put body work on top of that, that's good for you. I do it my way, you do it your way, and we all love each other, basically. So once I did all my body work, and then another thing I want to go ahead and tell everybody is, if you have your car stripped to bare metal and you're not going to be doing any body work to it, like in recent months, let's say, and it's going to sit around, you're better off prepping that bare metal and putting one coat, possibly two, of epoxy primer on to seal it, so the moisture in the air will not get surface rust. Now that doesn't mean you're going to do your body work on top of that. You will take your grinder or your DA sander or whatever, and you will remove the primer where the body work is going to be. By the time you do all the body work to your car, you will have basically either removed the epoxy primer or at least sanded it down to get it to a consistency of putting your 2K primer on. So that's what we put on first. We went ahead and put one full wet coat of this over our bodywork and our bare metal on our Volkswagen. And then that's when I went to the Evercoat primer systems. Now, there's other companies out there that make this shit. The problem with getting it from these other companies, and I don't know the name of the other several companies off the tip of my tongue, is because it's hard to find. It's hard to get. You can't find it anywhere. And I mean, it's ridiculous. These people advertise they're the best in the world and that they make the best product and it's high end. But when you go to find this stuff, it's like you can't find it anywhere. If you do find it, it's been sitting on a shelf for 2 years and it's bullshit. So that's why I go to the Evercoat brand of this type of primer. Now, this primer here is, I would say, new to the market. It's been out for several years, 10, maybe more years than 10. But the original high build primer that Evercoat used to make, and they still make it, required this hardener right here. Now they have this DTM direct to metal type primer, 4:1 mix ratio. It's a super high build, and I will tell you now, this is a super high build primer. And it has its own hardener. This is not a fiberglass resin hardener. This is a hardener that is catalyst, or what we want to call it, that is specifically designed for this primer only. There's a lot of restoration shops that use this. I don't believe in priming the whole car with this. I do not believe in that. I believe in spot priming. Only use it where you need it to flow out that bodywork, then make the bodywork all blend in. So that was the gray primer that you saw. The yellow primer that you saw was this stuff right here, which is called Featherfield Next Generation G2. Now, they used to have a Featherfield primer, and it was a filler primer. There was a lot of drawbacks from using that primer, so they redesigned it, regenerated it, and they have come up with the G2, which means Generation 2. And this primer requires this hardener. This is not, I'm going to repeat that again, do not put this on direct metal. This has got to have epoxy primer applied first. It's very important. The feather-filled G2 system, next generation, whatever you want to call it, has got to have epoxy primer applied. They claim that this is a DTM primer. I have never used this on direct metal, so I don't know. So this is what I have applied to our Volkswagen, and that's where we're at. That's the stage we're at on our 1955 Volkswagen. I'm getting ready to block sand that car out and do what I got to do to redo the body work. That means that what I have already done to it is the first go around of body work applied to that vehicle. And I have to go back now and redo the body work so I can prime it, put my final prime job on with this to get it ready, paint ready. So that's basically where we're at on our Volkswagen at this time. This is kind of a walk around of what's been going on over at the shop. And as we look at the table here, let's go ahead and move these primers now that we have talked about those. What you're looking at here now, this is seam sealer. Alright, this is seam sealer that I purchased. And what this is for our Mustang. Alright, this is seam sealer that I purchased. Let's bring the camera a little bit closer. We'll go over that and then we'll go look at the Mustang itself. So if we look right here, this is called Barrier Bond Brushable Seam Sealer. It comes in a quart can. I have never used this brand. I found this brand online and it was half price from 3M. I use 3M, that's what I normally use, but 3M is outrageously priced now. So I did my research and I found this brand here, and we're going to go ahead and use this on our car, and I'll show you where we're going to use this versus the caulking tube. I was online and I found the AC Delco, which is the General Motors product. This is what they use in their factory on factory cars. And I found this, it was on sale. I went ahead and bought this instead of buying the 3M or the normal stuff that I use because the price was a little high. And living out here in Moab, Utah, trying to get paint supplies, it's normally mail order or have to travel 130 miles to get them. And then when you travel 130 miles to get them, prices are pretty high. So ordering this stuff online saves a lot of money. So I got 2 quarts of brushable seam sealer, and then I got 4 tubes of AC Delco caulking, caulking compound body seam sealer. And I think that'll be more than enough to use on our Mustang. Let's go ahead and go look at our Mustang and see where we're at on that and what we got to do next. So before we get to our Mustang, let's go ahead and do a quick walk around on the Bug one more time. Now, I haven't done any primer work on the inside of the vehicle. We'll get that later. It's not really dramatic and exotic like it was on the outside of the car. So we'll get this prepped up for 2K primer, and I think that's all we're going to need in there. And when I do the 2K overall primer on this car, we won't be taping it off. I'll go ahead and prime inside and outside all at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and block the roof out first. Once I get the roof all blocked out, I'll redo all the body work need to be done, and then we will work our way down the vehicle and go around it. So we got several days of hard-earned block sanding to do on this, and 90% of it will be by hand. So make sure that if you get the chance, watch the video set on this car. And every video set that I do on every car, we might get loud over here and holler, cuss, and scream, but you're going to learn something different from every restoration that I do, and that's a guarantee. So let's go over here to the Mustang, and we'll go ahead and catch up on this. And I've been filming this in detail. I just got so many videos that I need to produce and make and pop up there. I haven't had time to actually get back on the restoration video set of our Mustang. So in Dallas, what we did, I'm going to go ahead and update everybody that's never seen this. We went ahead and basically placed all the sheet metal on the front end. When I say all the sheet metal, we're talking the core support, both inner fender well structures with shock towers. That's all brand new. You can see how it goes down under there, and then you can see where it needs to be seam sealed. All those corners need to be seam sealed. This car has had no seam seal put on it since we've worked on it. We went ahead and put the inner and outer cowling, upper and lower cowling. Complete firewall has been replaced on that car. A brand new hood was ordered and replaced on it. We went ahead and got some brand new aftermarket fenders. They didn't fit too good, so we went ahead and put used fenders, and these used fenders are actually OEM factory fenders, and they actually went ahead and fit very well. If we look down into the fender, you can see that spotted primer piece right there. That's called a torque box. We went ahead and replaced both torque boxes left and right. If you look under the car, you can see that partial rocker panel was replaced and also a complete floor. Now this car was T-boned right here. And when I say T-boned, I'm talking that it was a miracle that we even put this car back together. So the owner supplied a used A-pillar, and then we had to buy some brand new pieces to put it all together, some structural pieces. And I went ahead and put that together right here. Basically right where the factory would have welded on. You can kind of see it looks kind of like a factory weld. So we'll go ahead and open the door. And then the A-pillar was replaced with the used A-pillar. I sectioned it all in, and then I had to use the outer brand new partial piece that I purchased to get it all working. The door did not fit on here right. We ended up, the first door that we had, it was a 1967 door, and it didn't work. This is a 68. We found out that you have to have a 68 door. So we went ahead and got a 68 door. We got rid of the aftermarket hinges that I had, and we put used factory hinges on there. I still got to put hinge pins on that, and it seemed like the door worked very well. From being T-boned in this section right here, we could not get the door to fit precisely on there. So what I had to do in this box is a door skin. There's a door skin in this box, and what I will do with that, I will graft that door skin into this door to get my nice, even, majestic body line that I need to get to make this door fit properly. The fenders, they fit really good. It was a tight squeeze using all the aftermarket parts that we had to use, but they ended up fitting. And when I do the body work to this, I think everything will work out. I just got done putting the left and right full quarter panels on it. If we look into the car, you can also see I went ahead and installed mini tubs into the vehicle so the owner could put bigger tires on it. And these are the mini tubs that you can use your factory interior with. If we look down here, you can see there's the bracket. So everything will fit in here and work great. If we look inside the trunk, you can see that the floor was replaced on both sides, all the way around. And yeah, so I believe that all the rust work is done on this vehicle, and time to start moving on to the paint and body era of it. I still got a little bit of work to do to that door. Once I get that door done, and then there's a little section on the drip rail, the rust stang has been completely fixed, and it's time to move to paint and body. So I was telling you about the seam sealer on this. This car has not been seam sealed yet since all the work has been accomplished to it. So that's where the brushable seam sealer comes in. And here's a little example. If you look up here, and you can see the seam where the two fenders meet, the inner and outer, that has to be seam sealed up, and then we brush that on there. That's one of the areas where the brushable seam sealer goes. If we look at the floor section down here, you can see where the two floors, the rear floor and the front floor meet. That's another section that needs to be brush seam sealed. And then the same also goes up with the front of the floor where it meets the firewall as well. And then you can see this section right here. That's a brushable seam sealed section. And then if we look over here, you'll see in the corners of the fender wells, and this is just an example. That's an area where you would use your caulking gun and seam sealer to seam seal all that in. And then of course over here where the quarter panels are spot welded inside the car itself, in that frame structure down there, that's where you would use a caulking gun to seam seal all that in. So that's basically the walk around on the Mustang as of today. I want everybody to take a good look underneath the car. That's all of the rotted, rusted steel that came off the back of the car, and pretty much, yeah, the rust is gone. So we got this job in approximately a month ago. I specifically told the owner that I'm not going to work on it until the bug is gone. When the bug is gone, we will start working on this. This is a 69 Corvette. It belongs to a lady that grew up with the car. Her dad bought the car brand new, and she grew up in the car. Her dad went ahead and restored the car at one time, and now it's time to completely restore it again, and her husband are restoring it, and the only thing I'll be doing to this is painting it. It was blue when we got it in. The original color was silver. We don't know what color the owner wants, since we went ahead and had it walnut bead blasted. That's right, walnut shell blasted. Now the owner wants to go ahead and possibly change the color. This was the color of the car before we blasted it, and then when we looked up the VIN plate numbers on it, the original color was actually silver. So I started working on the doors, and this is where we got. Now this is a metal door inner shell, and then you got the fiberglass that is basically glued to it. So it came unglued right here, so I went ahead and glued that back. And then let's see, over here, yeah, the door separated over here. So we went ahead and glued that back using panel bond. And then you can see, here's the original glue. And then of course it came loose here and then over here. So that's where we are on this Corvette. And I'm gonna have to go ahead and say we won't be doing anything to this Corvette until this Volkswagen is done and gone and out the door. There you go. 1967 Camaro. All the body work is done to this. This is basically in a paint ready stage. Now this is the UPOL primer that I've been talking about that I'm using, and it's a very nice primer. It does not go on super thick, like as in let's say leaving a lot of orange peel. It goes on thick, but not a thickness that there's a lot of orange peel on, if that makes any sense. So it lays down and it flows out very nicely. And this is in paint ready stage. The interior is already painted, and when I say interior, I'm talking about the dash area and all of the horseshoe area in the back. The doors are not painted yet, and that's because we're going to paint those all at one time, in and out, inside out one time. So this has been a little update on what's going on over here at D.I.Y, SWR&C, D.I.Y Auto School, SWR&C, Southwest Rod and Custom. My friend Pete's right here in Moab, Utah. What we're doing, what's going on, and I don't have any employees. I'm not going to hire any employees, and all the work that you just saw, I basically did all by myself. And if I can do that all by myself, then you can get off your lazy ass and do it all by yourself. Because I'm getting ready to go in to the other room here and start block sanding all by myself. I'm going to turn my radio on and I will be block sanding. I don't have a Patreon account. I don't have GoFundMe or none of that bullshit. All I ask is that you watch my videos, leave comments, and possibly thumb up if you like them. And that's all I got to say. I got work to do today. I'm going to be block sanding. It's a filthy job. I hate fucking block sanding. I hate dry sanding. I hate sanding, period. But I'm off my ass and I'm doing it, whether I love it, like it, or not.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.